Where we find Cross is, I think he's at a place where he's just trying to get back to balance, spend a little time, coming off where we last left him with, therapy, and things are starting to feel a little bit better. I think, if I can say without spoilers, that he's trying to figure out what life looks like in the relationship space, whatever that may mean. Getting back to a place with understanding where he is in the world, dealing with, what's going on in the district, with his relationship with Samson. Still, brotherhood is strong. It will be challenged again this season for sure. But, he's at a place where I think peace is right on the precipice before chaos all happens the rest of the season. It's fantastic, man. It was amazing. This is one of the best sets I've ever worked on, one of the greatest crews and casts I've ever worked with. And I can say, professionally and personally, it's a place where I'm happy, truly happy. So it was amazing getting back to be with my people. Man, I'll say the thing I love about the show is that nobody's ever safe, whether that means emotionally, personally, whether we're dealing with mortality, so don't get comfortable. There are so many dynamic changes that shift that you will not expect. So, like I said, Cross and Samson are going to face something that challenges even their relationship from a point of trust and loyalty. Cross is going to find new challenges even within the district, working amongst his team, and yet again, dealing with the nature of what the idea of duty means, when you're working up against things that are just not okay. From a personal standpoint, dealing with themes of revenge and morality, even if you're doing the wrong thing for what you may presume to be the right reason, is that okay? There are a lot of people that are going to look great on the surface, and once you uncover a few layers, you realize they're not as shiny and squeaky clean as you thought. So we have a lot of changing masks going on. That's why I said don't get comfortable, because you'll never know who to trust this season. Man, Matthew, that brother right there, he's wild, man. He's every time. If we're on set and you hear a bunch of people laughing in a corner, that's where Matthew is. Really great energy. Always came to set with a lot of great sort of intuitiveness and imagination when it came to really building out who this character was. And I've worked with Matt before. We did Leverage back in the day, So it's nice to find him in this space in a very different seat. I think that he's going to be presented to the world in a way they haven't seen him yet. And I think he did a bang-up job. I'm really happy that he was the brother that stepped into this role. And well, it's cool because we get to see an expansion on, her character. We get to dive into the back history of what Cross and Kayla's relationship has been and what it is and where it could possibly go. So I think that's amazing. Working with Alona, we first time worked together on Supernatural when I was like 19, So here we go, 20 years later, back at it. And it's cool to be able to have sort of that history and that camaraderie, but to be able to bring these characters together in this new way, we're going to present something very refreshing and I think very intriguing to the audience, and I'm really excited for that. Man, I wish I had a routine. I wake up and I throw stuff at the wall and I see what sticks. Nah, the physical, that's just a lot of maintenance, man. Making sure that my body is just prepared on a regular basis to be affable and capable to shift where we need to go. Whether that's through a fight scene, whether it's through copious amounts of running, just making sure my body is ready. And then mentally, all it is really, getting back into that same pocket of who this character is, understanding where he's at, in this particular time and place, and trying to make sure that the consistency is there, the consistency of growth, being able to bring the character back for the audience in a way that we know him, that we're familiar with him, but also somebody who's renewed and refreshed and has a bit of maturity, has, different things going on inside that we can present through this season. So it's really just making sure that my relationship with the character is as strong and firm as it was when I started building him out on the first season. So I'm crazy, man. Anytime you give me an action scene or something like that, I'm like, yo, let's get it. So for me, the difficulty looks like fun. So I say I'm crazy. And I think the most fun that I had this season was, I'm trying to say this without spoiling, I get to have some fun driving experiences in the Mustang this season, and they trusted me enough to let me get at it. That's all I can say.
That is very cool. Usually you don't get trusted to that kind of thing. That's
Nah, but look, I love to drive, man. I love speed. Give me any excuse to get behind the wheel, I'm going. And yeah, they let me have my time. So thank you, Mustang. Thank you for it.
I love the trust.
I had to respond to it. I wasn't informed because we kind of have a practice of like, I know the story, I know the overline, but Ben, our showrunner, who's awesome, he won't tell me everything about where we're going just so I can still be surprised when I get there, you know, have more of an authentic sort of reaction to it. So I get surprised by where these people are going. So as we're going through it, I'm discovering and finding out and figuring out the choices that Cross is making to deal with these things. And I can say that what I love about it is that these scenarios push him to always respond honestly and organically, because then we get to understand where his vulnerability lies. What is he going to fight for? How hard is he going to fight for it? What does he have to challenge personally within himself, which is all what we get to see this season, because there are some mistakes that he may have made that he now has to address. So you're watching a man in the turmoil of a storm of everything that's going on with the case and with what's happening in his world divisively. You're still watching a man sort of discover himself through it all. We didn't have to build it, man. It was just there. Like I said, we have a great cast. Everybody comes to the space with humility. We have a lot of love and respect for each other. So we kind of work off of the nature of our real relationships built into the character relationships. You know, the brotherhood you see between Isaiah and I on screen is the brotherhood we have off screen. You know, sort of that the nature of the parental relationship that I have with, like, you know, Caleb and Melody, who play my kids. It comes from sort of the relationship of being, I guess, like a guide or you know, sort of a supportive figure off screen for kids when, you know, trying to find a moment in an acting scene and trying to find beats to get there. Like, you know, we're always there to be supportive and always there to help. But the dynamics that we have, we're just lucky that we have a lot of great relationships naturally, that we don't have to work hard to build, but that just feeds what the characters go through and how they go through it on screen. Honestly, my favorite sets are, it's our house, it's the district, and then it's also Ben's Chili. I love the first, because these are the sets we live in most of the time, but I know that if we're gonna shoot a scene in the district, that means I know what cast I'm going to be seeing that day. You know, I know who's going to be in the room. I know that Stacy going to be there. You know what I mean? And or for the audience, Lieutenant DeLachner. You know what I mean? And I know we're going to have a good time. If I'm going to Ben's Chili, I know who I'm seeing. I know who we're going to see in the house. So I get to look forward to, you know, where my people at. I do love our extensive sets, you know, outside, but I think my home feels like, you know, when we're on stage with, you know, like I said, the district, the Ben's Chili in the house. There is a scene, I would say, season finale. There's sort of a situation that happens very early on in the season, that we're unsure of, and we're tracking, you know, throughout the season is to kind of figure out how it's going to shake down. But there's a scene in the season finale that sort of sums it up and explains it in a way that, honestly, when I saw it, it brought me to tears. You know, I shed a thug tear. I'm not gonna lie. You know what I'm saying? Got me all emotional. It had me wrapped up in a way I didn't realize. So there's that. Because it makes you appreciate so much. It just calls back to what you have to appreciate in life. And then also there's a scene that, for those who don't know, Ben Watkins also occupies, he shares 2 hats this season. He gets to play a character, and Roy. And, our characters have a bit of a disagreement at a point, and we had fun, having that disagreement. So I would say the scene between me and Ben, people gonna get at it. Yeah. Oh man, Ben, that's my partner right there. That's my boy. First of all, I have a great deal of respect for him as just a man, but also as a leader, and for the position that he carries when it comes to dealing with the magnitude of a show like this. I think he handles it effortlessly. And then also, have him jump on as an actor, and we get to play that back and forth. I think it's cool just because, if you ever meet Ben, you'll understand he's got an amazing spirit. He's got an amazing sense of emotional intelligence. And, when you're dealing with somebody like that, you're really kind of in a position to sit back and learn a lot. So whatever he's going through, however he addresses it, when he's an actor, he's going on there and, director gives him a note, he's going to take it. He's going to follow because he understands that's that director's job, So he's not running from, I wrote this and da-da-da, and this is how it should be. He's like, all right, cool. How do y'all see it? That sort of sense of respect and humility, to me, is what creates and breeds a wonderful environment for success to thrive. That's what I learn from him on a regular basis, and that's what I love to keep saying.